Hello, and welcome to New Beginnings Start Today, the podcast for people who really want to grow deeper in their faith in the Lord. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas Keffer, a minister, licensed clinical pastoral counselor here in Roanoke, Virginia, and I have a passion to help people live their faith. Today, we're going to talk about serving Jesus versus doing a task, and how you can learn to take your to do list and find fulfillment in doing it to please the Lord and just not doing things. Let's look at this. The way that God created me as an individual that has to do with be doing something all the time. Inactivity to me is stressful. When I was working either in the pulpit ministry, which was over 23 years, or in the private Christian counseling practice I had here in Roanoke, which was 28 years, I kept an arduous schedule. Monday through Friday, I started my day at 5:15 and I went to bed around 11 o'clock. I kept that schedule for over 50 years, and I had a lot of things on my calendar that demanded my attention all the time. Today, I sleep in until 6 o'clock. Yes, that extra 45 minutes has been a blessing to me with what I deal with physically. I did not realize the toll my work schedule had taken on me until I retired, and I did not have to be at the office before 7:30 to get ready for my day. If there was one thing I would have changed with that schedule, I would have taken more time for myself and spent more time with my heart keeper and sons when they were at home. Yes, I say all this to help you realize the importance of being able to see the difference between allowing your schedule to run you and being able to take your schedule and have control of that schedule so it does not run you. That balance is critical for us who want to serve the Lord with our schedules and not allow what we have on our schedules to be seen as just tasks that we must get done. The Apostle Paul gives us great insight into the blessings of doing what we do for Jesus when he wrote, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interest of the others." Philippians 2, verses 3 and 4. Paul encouraged the Christians in that great city of Philippi to learn how to serve the Lord with humility and then to see the needs of others beyond their own needs. This is a very difficult admonition for most people today. We have not we have not been taught this kind of service before. It is unusual to have this approach to ministry as the way to find fulfillment in what we do. I am thinking of a woman I had the privilege to counsel who loved her gift of music. She loved to sing and direct choirs. She would ask me all the time if I thought she was capable of doing what the task before her was. I helped her see that she was given the talent to sing and help others love to do the same in directing choirs in several churches and her community. It was a joy to listen to her sing and watch the joy that her demeanor gave because she was truly serving the Lord and not just doing a task. This made all the difference in the world how God was able to use her talent to bless the people she was ministering to as she was doing it unto the Lord. I have seen many people in the music industry that get up and have their concerts and did not give the feeling that they were doing it to serve the Lord, but to do 15 to 20 songs and to be on to the next city or town and do it all over again. I'm not judging them. I am looking at what they presented by their actions. The difference between unto the Lord and doing tasks. Paul then talks about the importance of not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interests of the others. This is a very difficult concept for so many people because Satan is using and working overtime to convince people today that if you don't look out for your own interests, no one else is going to do that for you. I am sorry to say that so many really believe that because what they see their to do list to be is simply getting all the tasks done because there is always going to be something else that needs to be done. It is never ending. This is the lie that Satan wants you to believe, but it is not true. My wife's dad would say to her all the time, Dana, there is always someone worse off than me. He learned how to see that looking at others' interest allowed him to know that God knew his needs and would supply them according to his will. It is too easy to get self absorbed and have the woe is me mentality. This can cause you to learn how to be selfish, and that can blind you to the needs of others right around you. I am thinking of our daughter in law, Heather. She is truly a servant as she puts the needs of her family and others before her own all the time. She runs herself ragged in helping her family and many others and knows that the Lord is blessing her in doing so, even when at times she is so worn out that it is hard for her to put one foot in front of the other. She knows that having this attitude blesses her every day, and those she serves knows how she has blessed them most of the time. I want you to work, or I want you who work for a company that requires you to report to your boss for what you are doing in your job, to ask yourself if you really feel appreciated by your boss or the company you work for. I would venture to say that most of you viewing this would say you don't feel much appreciation for what you do. Most of you would tell me that they just expect more and more from you with no additional remuneration. This has been a trend in corporate businesses for quite some time. Working in these conditions makes it difficult for you to hear what the Apostle Paul says to the Christians in the city of Colossae when he wrote, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Colossians 3, verses 23 and 24. Paul says, whatever you do, and he means just that. If you are in upper management or doing a janitorial work, it makes no difference. You are to work as though you are working for Jesus. I'm thinking of a man I know who had a very high level management position with a very well known company here where I live. I remember him coming to session with his wife, and he had a very distraught demeanor. I asked what was wrong, and he proceeded to tell me that he went to work that week and was told by his supervisor that they were letting him go after the years he had invested with them. He was being replaced by a younger employee that they were going to be able to pay a fraction of the salary to compared to what they were paying my client. I am happy to tell you that the Lord opened even better opportunities for him at another company, and he felt the hand of God in these circumstances. This came about because this man had learned the blessing of doing what he did as working for the Lord, not for human masters. He too, this day, gives God the praise and honor for blessing him and his family with this new position. I want you to understand that living this way takes discipline to really learn how to do what you are doing for the Lord. You have to be very careful that your schedule does not become the same old, same old. It is it is so easy for that to happen. You can learn not to allow that to happen when you understand the blessings Jesus promises when you work for him. Paul tells us, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. I want you to stop and take a minute and think about that promise. Doing what you do for the Lord will give you an inheritance from the Lord. I'm not talking about a gold watch for your faithful service to a company for 30 years, which hardly exists any longer. It doesn't mean that you are guaranteed that bonus at the end of the quarter because you met your numbers. It certainly doesn't mean that your boss is going to greet you every day you arrive at work with a cup of Starbucks coffee and a Danish and tell you how glad he or she is to see you. Wouldn't that be nice? What it does mean is that you are going to believe that at the end of your day, you are going to know that you have pleased the Lord with your actions, and ultimately, you are going to spend eternity with Him because of your love and dedication to what you are going that what you are doing, and He wants you to know each and every day of that promise, His inheritance. Are there going to be days that are harder than others to keep this principle in mind? Of course, there is. But the more you have the mindset of doing all that you are doing for the Lord to win the prize before you, the easier it is to praise Him for His love and care of your life. Paul tells us we can believe this truth because it is the Lord Christ you are serving. Living with this conviction allows you to see what you work so hard at, from your personal relationship with God and Jesus to your marriage, to raising those children you have been blessed with, to serving your church, to helping your neighbor unload those bags of mulch, to going to work and doing what you were hired to do each day as an act of service to the Lord. His reward for your faithfulness, his reward for your mastery of this, serving him, is eternal. Thank you for listening to this episode. And I want to invite you to contact me and share how you are seeing what you do each day as doing it for the Lord. Answer this question: how will you see your job differently when you see it as being done for the Lord Jesus? If you are seeing this on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and the like button. Also, click on the share button and share it with all your friends. That will be so helpful to me. Tell me about other issues you would like me to address by leaving your comments. And you can email me at drdouglaskeffer@gmail.com. I also encourage you to pick up a copy of my book, New Beginnings Start Today with God, on my website. Click the link below. Until next time, God bless you all.